We're going to start with the forward somersault, the basics of that, then some simple progressions up to more advanced progressions of working with it. Starting in kind of an all fours type of position, what you're going to want to do as you do the somersault is you're kind of touching the top of your head onto the ground, but you want to tuck your head as much as possible as you do the roll. With all the rolls, you want to think of rounding your back as much as possible, every single vertebrae. Now, when you're starting out, after the roll, you may just come to a sitting position here. That is fine. But a first kind of progression from that is to use the momentum from the roll in order to get yourself back to a squatting position. And because the squat is so important, this is why it's somewhat of a prerequisite to do these rolling moves. But in addition to the squat, you can, of course, use the momentum to continue coming up forward, and you don't need to really even come through necessarily a super deep squat. With the forward roll, you can start in different positions. So that is starting in a squat position here. You don't have a whole lot of momentum. In some ways, coming from a standing position is easier because you have more momentum. Notice that I can use that momentum to continue going forward. It becomes easier to exit out in a similar sort of way. But from the standing, going into the somersault can be a little bit trickier if you haven't done it before. So as we're coming down, we're not even coming through a full squat here, but legs just bending slightly, hands come down. The arms are being used to guide your head to the ground. And notice I'm already getting in that rounded neck and back position from there. We can also try from other positions, such as the Somersault here. And we could, of course, exit out the same sort of way. So these are some of the basics of rolling. To get that down, we'll advance them with even more momentum, walking, running, sprinting in a bit, jumping. But we can also advance this by doing different things with our arms. For instance, we can just do a crossed arm position. A lot of these become harder because you cannot use your hands to guide you into place. So one of the things that rolling, this is especially true of the backward somersault, but even the forward somersault, this requires some neck strength to pull off. Here, because you don't necessarily want to come down hard on your head, you might want to start back at a squatting position for this. And then typically, as you're entering the roll, you're going to come out the same way in doing that. We can put the hands behind the knees. You can still do as much or as little of a squat as you need. Coming out of these, because you don't have the hands for momentum or for helping you come off the ground, you need to use a bit more ab strength to get up into that position. Also, we can do a no hands roll. Here, the hands can still come forward a bit in order to help us with that, and we can make that harder. So a different one is to actually grasp the arms. You can just do the wrists or try to come more to the elbows. And this one is tougher because of the arm and body position, especially coming out of it. Really have to use some momentum there. Another alternative is the grasping toes. This one is awkward as well because of the position it brings you through. Do not try to do this one straight leg. You really want to move through the squat there. We also have the cross leg somersault. So this is good to be able to do those cross leg squats and even to the sitting position, both coming up and down. If you can do that, doing a roll in this position should not be difficult to do. One other way we can make this harder is to make it a one-legged roll. Of course, before doing this, it's good to have a good base of what you can do as far as pistols and or other one-legged squats. We start this going back to using the hands. Didn't need them on the way out. Kind of used to that. Let me try to do it again. So you can use the hands to help you come up. Heel may hit the ground. You can then also do it. One of my favorite forward somersaults is a no hands, one leg. As you can see, a whole lot to play with here. Although I've covered them in just minutes, this could be months of practice. And of course, this is just all based off the forward somersault.